Welcome. Today's reading is Trump and those Epstein files. So he's back in the headlines again. This time he is diverting energy over to Bill Clinton and a bunch of others and asking to look into them. So is this a distraction to take the heat off himself? Is there something in this? Will something be released? So let's have a look at the energy around those Epstein files again, because they're back in the headlines. As much as they try to keep them out of the headlines, they're back in the headlines. So, which I'm happy to keep them there, because I think we need some answers. We need anybody that is responsible here to be held accountable, and I think that's what people want. So let's take a look in around the current headlines and what's going on with those Epstein files, Trump, Clinton, other people that's been involved, and we'll see if we're going to get any outcome. So what I'm reading with today will be my governance oracle. Because it's government kind of related topics. The forecaster, I think I might use them as well, but I'm also going to be using my Stardust Shadows Tarot, because that's where the dirt is, and that's how we dive into getting answers for those kind of things. It's actually my favorite go-to deck for this style of reading, for things like the Epstein files, when we want to dig dirt on political members or well-known people and see what's going on with their energy. Remember, this is card reading. There's no facts here, so I'm only going to say this once, but this entire reading that we're doing is all alleged. It is card reading only. There's no facts here. This is entertainment purposes only, so please use discernment and do your own research. That's my little disclaimer. That's the disclaimer that we all have to say. But let's get into the energy of this reading. So yeah, I'm going to get straight into the Stardust Shadows Tarot. Okay, we're doing energy. First of all, just show me the energy around Trump and the Epstein files. What's the energy here? Now, I'm also seeing that I should be using a different deck here, but I'm just allowing that to come to me. So, okay, so here it's about getting away from somebody, now this card kept coming up around Andrew. Interesting. This is the main card that comes up when I do the Andrew readings. There's big connections everywhere here. Getting away is diverting attention. It is trying to get yourself out of that group or out of that spotlight, limelight. So we're looking at Trump's energy around the Epstein file. So he's either trying to get away with it, or he's trying to get away from being in the headlines around the Epstein file. So to me, that sounds correct. But they're showing me a different deck of cards. So I might just quickly pull one from the forecaster. Okay, show me the energy, please. Trump and those Epstein files. What's going on there? Strategy, calculated moves. So it's just a strategic move. What's the strategic move for? What's behind the strategy here? The strategy being that he is looking into Bill Clinton, enemy within sabotage. So yeah, so he's, instead of him being sabotaged, being enemy with him, he's looking at strategy to take the attention away from himself, because that's what internal sabotage means. He doesn't want to sabotage himself, so he's making strategic moves here with taking himself out of the headlines. A little bit of that is just kind of general knowledge information too. The cards are saying what they're saying, but it feels like the cards are on it. They're on the energy, because if you think about it logically, that's probably the correct answer. So with it coming from the cards so early on, I feel like the cards are on the energy here that we're reading. So let's get into the reading. Okay, do I dare ask? Trump energy here. Now, when I look at the videos of Trump and Epstein together, they look like good friends to me. So they're both younger, much younger. And to me, they look like they're very good friends. When I look at the picture of Epstein with Bill Clinton, obviously there's lots of pictures, but I'm thinking about the one where Epstein's kind of turning around, looking over his shoulder at the person taking the photo. The look to me says, "Ooh, I've got one here." Like, yeah, he's got a very smirky kind of calculating expression where he's thinking about that this one is he's working. It's a job. It's a client. It's somebody he's working Bill Clinton. He is energetically is what I'm thinking as I'm picturing the image, and we'll see what the cards have to say as we're pulling. So I've moved over to Bill Clinton energy straight away. Okay, and that means the cards are not moving, so they're asking me to pick up again the other deck because there's no movement going on there. Okay, as I'm picturing this image of Epstein sitting at a table with Bill Clinton, they're both younger. It says that complicit, knowingly participated. So participated in some activities around Epstein Island and the whole thing. So complicit is the answer there. But to me, the face on Epstein looked like he was, independent and alone. So what I'm getting at here is that then they weren't buddies like it looked like. Trump and Epstein looked like they were good mates, being young and good mates into very similar things. Bill Clinton to me looked like it was more of a strategic move over. He was working him. It was like, yeah, I've got him kind of energy. What do you have to say about that? And I love it when they prove me wrong. I'm only thinking this. So cards, what do you think about that? It was a connection. It was making connections. So they were making connections about. Okay, so we've got the star card. I'll just set that to the side so you can see that one. So the connections being hookups. Okay, that came out. They just slipped out. Connections being, interactions with different people, and Epstein's the guy to go to for connections or hookups. You could take hookups in any way you want to take it being networking connections or take it the other way. But that was the word that slipped out of my mouth. So when that happens, it's normally spirit just being forceful and pushing it out. I'm normally pretty good at filtering what comes out of my mouth, but sometimes things just come out when they're meant to come out. So here it's about making the right connections to get what you need, to get what you want, to also, when it comes back to the whole game of what this Epstein thing really was, when we think about the blackmail element of it as well. But when you look at that complicit card, when I come back to that, the energy around Bill Clinton is complicit energy. Again, this is non-political. I don't have an opinion on these people. That's me. I don't have an opinion on these people. So I am Australian. I'm not American. There's a lot of secrets being kept here. So they are keeping secrets around the Bill Clinton stuff. Was there a secret place? Because the Epstein Island is pretty public information, well-known information. But this secret entrance is showing me like access to places that not everybody got access to. That's what I'm getting the vibe from that card. Similar, it's saying similar to the Epstein Island type of stuff, but it's similar to what I'm trying to say, but a little bit different. So yeah, but there was negotiations that also took place here. They made deals, they made negotiations here. Okay, so getting back to the energy of Trump and Epstein, what was going on there? So you wanted to chit-chat a lot about Bill Clinton. So let's talk about, remember, it's entertainment purposes only. Let's get back into the energy of Trump and Epstein. Okay, so there is some regrets there about directions taken in the past. So in the past, when they were young, he does have some regrets. So I guess that's probably a reason why he's trying to so hard to distract and put attention elsewhere, is because there's some things that he may have been involved in that we'll see if that complicit card comes out for him. But not everything is true. So he has regrets. There is definitely some things there, but not everything is true. There is some definitely gossip surrounding Trump and Epstein. Okay, what else would you like to say? Okay, so there's power moves here. It's about, people with money, people with prestige, people with definitely the energy I'm getting there, because I'm hearing cut above. So the energy I'm getting there is like that Andrew energy of, he's a different breed. He's not like the commoners. He considers himself a different kind of person. So they pretty much, and it's not like perks, but it's like entitlements. That's the right word that I'm getting through here. So they feel entitled to certain privileges. Now, it's interesting that this is Trump's reading, but I'm pulling the energy in. It's bringing me Andrew energy, much like the very first card that fell out. There's something there around the energy of the entitlement energy that comes in from Andrew that's coming through in Trump's reading as well, if that makes sense to you. So this is what I'm picking up around it. So it's saying that he has some regrets about things he probably was participating in or around the scene that he was around. Something coming in around love energy here as well. So perhaps we could, Melania, are we talking about Melania here? What's going on with that energy? While it's coming up here. This card here, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm laughing. This is I'm laughing because this is lighthearted energy. That's what they're showing me. They're showing me to be lighthearted with this kind of energy. It's a bit of fun. It's entertainment. So that's what they're saying. So don't take it so seriously. But what that energy is Ghislaine Maxwell. That one there with the whip, if you have, and I've followed the Epstein story since probably 2011, before the internet got scrubbed. I was looking into this stuff with the Lolita Express, and it was so traumatizing to me back then. Children being transported on the Lolita Express, that I never forgot it. And that's why when he comes out and says that this is all a hoax, this information is not true, well, I've been following this information since 2011, so 2011. So for me, it's like, well, this was long before Trump was even in politics, so that I've been looking into this stuff. So, but this card here, Ghislaine Maxwell, their stories that they'd have parties by the pool, and she would have a whip, and she would be teaching the girls on how to do certain things. So this energy here is giving me Ghislaine Maxwell vibes. So we've got for power, we've got for love, and sitting on top of that is Ghislaine Maxwell on a Trump spread. What's the connection here that I'm not seeing? What is the connection? And when I say I'm not seeing, it's a connection that I don't know. It's a worry. Now it's a worry. So there's a worry around Ghislaine Maxwell to do with Trump's energy. Now, I thought when I saw love, I thought that might have been Melania energy, but it's not. It's showing me Ghislaine energy. So I don't know what those connections are there, but I do know there's a recent email that's just come out in the headlines, like within the last day or two, about Trump knew something, because there's an email, and it's not verbatim, it's just general energies around this email, that he was worried about Ghislaine and said she needs to get out. So, yeah, why? What's that all about? Why is this energy coming up in this reading, Trump's reading, bringing in Ghislaine? And then we've got that email that's just been released this week. Okay, anything else you want to add to that? Oops. Okay, so there are a lot of cards just fell out here. Let's see. So innocent energy, there's innocent energy, innocence. Okay, so I'll let you know. It's going to misdirection. Well, the energy of this whole thing is about misdirection. So I would expect that card to come out somewhere. I'll leave it in somewhere in today's reading. So we'll just pop that over here, because I feel like the whole energy is about misdirection. Now, this card here is about innocence, unaware of wrongdoing. Now, I'm coming back into this Ghislaine energy around Trump. And I don't know why she's showing up in his reading, but innocence could be back to the energy where she's training young girls how to do certain things. And that could be a rumor, but that's just a story that I heard. Yes, and I don't know how much truth in that, because I wasn't there, so I don't know. But that's the vibe that the cards are giving me. And it's all, of course, the whole thing stems back to desires. Okay, so let's take a look. So sitting over there by itself, we've got misdirection. You see only what I want you to see. Let me just move that out of the way so you can read that. You see only what I want you to see. So I want you to look over here so you don't focus on here. So he doesn't want us to focus on the email about, and if you know what this email is, because I'm going to have to look it up, something about the email where Trump says, Ghislaine should get out. And this is an old long time ago energy. So it's an email from a long time ago that's been released. This energy is coming back in. So he doesn't want us to look at that energy. He wants us to look somewhere else. The Bill Clinton stuff, I guess, because that stuff, I was going to ask, what does he want us to look at? And then the cards were really actively talking about Bill Clinton. So he wants us to look there instead. Okay, is there something here that you want to share with us about this whole situation, Trump and the Epstein, or the Epstein files, Trump and Epstein, or Trump and the Epstein files? What would you like to show me? Okay, this stuff is moving very fast, 8 of Wands, where it's moving very, very fast for a breakthrough or information coming out at a faster rate. Doesn't mean it's not going to be covered over, protected. I was just thinking, are they going to cover it over? Well, they're going to guard that information and protect it. But the situation here goes very deep. It goes much, much deeper than we're actually seeing because they're well guarding certain information. Don't forget, we had the card that said rumors. So some of the things are rumors. So we have to use discernment. And I guess we'd have to look at each thing that comes out on a case-by-case kind of scenario. This is what they're telling me. So be very cautious about somebody having to be very cautious and watch their back. Who is this? Okay, I wanted to do a reading on Candace Owen this week, but the cards have said not this week. That'll be in a couple of weeks because there's something coming up around her that's going to be more important that I need to read on in a couple of weeks. And if I do that reading now, then it's like I'm duplicating it if I do it in a couple of weeks. So there's something coming that, because they've asked me also to do a little bit more research around her energy and look into her a little bit more. That was the cards that came up for her. So there is a reading coming up around her because it says caution, watch their back, female energy. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Am I on the right track here? The scandal. So a scandal. Someone having to be very careful or cautious watching their back because the scandal goes very deep here. Now, people like Candace are uncovering and going deep with looking into these things. Okay. Is there something coming out in that area from like connections, the connections being who's connected to who? Okay, I've got like 1,000 questions, so I need to clear what's going on here. So first of all, quickly back to Candace. No, they're saying no. Andrew and no. Politicians, yes. Political scandal, I guess we're talking maybe Clinton. Political scandal, they're saying. Somebody being cautious and watching their back, yes. Okay, so it's tit for tat energy. So it's like throwing certain people under the bus, but in doing so, you have to be very careful or very cautious. Why? Powerful energy, powerful people. So here, and that was the other thing. So it wasn't just Clinton that he's throwing onto the bus here. There's a bunch of other corporations, I guess, big, powerful people. This is what this whole energy is around these cards. Big, powerful people being thrown onto the bus here to take the attention away from Trump. It's distraction energy. But you have to be very, and who's having to be cautious? Maybe it's Trump. Who has to be, let's go to the governance oracle here, because we're talking about some kind of political scandal. That's what they were bringing through, with or involving very powerful people, corporations, people with high power, people, powerful people that aren't going to sit back and just let their name be dragged through the dirt. This is what they're telling me. This is what I'm picking up around this energy. Okay, has a negative impact. Will have a negative impact. Okay, so what you're saying is that by Trump turning the attention towards these people, Clinton being one of them, but there's a bunch of others, it's going to have a negative impact. A negative impact on what or who? Trust being... okay, what they're doing is this to me. So it's like there's certain information that is privileged information that when you're in these elite circles, this is what this card's showing me, and as actually what I'm pulling through is when you're in these privileged circles, you are privileged to certain kind of information, and it's just for whatever reason, whether we're talking about blackmail or we're talking about networking or connections or whatever it is, but that you are forbidden to release certain kind of information. It's well known. It's well known within the circle. So if you're part of these circles, then this is what they're showing me, then you know that you don't release certain information because it puts you then on the outside of the circle. And on the outside of the circle, there's no protection. You're not protected. You are a target for whatever. I don't know what you're a target for, whether it's blackmail or whether it's no longer holding your secrets. But here's the energy and how it feels to me. So when you're on the inside of these circles, you are part of a elite team. No, it's not team, it's elite group of people that have a certain upbringing. Maybe it's to do with fraternities, maybe it's to do with networking, but it's a group of people that have a very strong bond connection. Even though on the outside in the media, general public, we are seeing these people as being division, opposite sides of the coin, opposite sides of political debates, but really they're all inside of this little group of circle that's a part of a privileged group. They kind of know who's who, they know what's what, they know what goes on. Once you turn your back or portray people within this circle, then you are then moved to the outside of the circle and you are no longer within the confines of protection and confidentiality. This is all the words they're telling me. So yeah, that's what you have to be cautious of when you start throwing certain people under the bus. Interesting. Okay, anything else you want to share? Okay, so right, I'm just getting an energy check here about my energy and how long I've been reading for, which I'm not too sure. We are still recording. It's good. I still have a little bit longer before I will close this one down. Liberation prevails. Okay, so chained and shackled within the confines of the system or certain information. But it's no longer sustainable if you throw certain people under the bus. Okay, so while we're giving out names, now this leads me to the next question. While certain names are being given out, will it just be a wipe over? I'm just going to throw out a few names. This is not me. This is the energy that I'm picking up. So if I was to want to distract somebody, I would throw out a few names and say, yeah, here, look, where I'm looking into these people, but really I'm not, because I'm part of this energy where I am forbidden to do that. So let's take a look. Am I in the right direction by thinking this? So really it's like, yeah, alliances. So really, and they're ongoing alliances too, by the way. It's ongoing alliances. So where you're saying to the media and to the people and trying to divert attention or appease certain factions, groups, people, then you will say, yeah, I'll give you this, but are we really going to get that? Okay, got a little bit of sarcastic energy coming through there. So tell me, cards, please, am I wrong or right? What energy is coming up here? Am I on the right track here? Misdirection. So it's all about the misdirection. It could even be around people that really aren't involved. Gathering facts. We've got here gathering facts, so gathering information. But is that information going to come out? That's the thing that I'm getting at. That's really what I'm asking. Is did not see. Okay, it's not that it's not involved. It is did not see. Okay, picking up two energies around that. One is, and let me sit in to see which one's the right one. Something around Trump and some kind of emails coming out to say they didn't see him involved in anything. And the other energy of did not see is, no, it's gone. So that means it's the first one. Gathering facts or information. Right. So the misdirection is so we do not see or get more information or facts or start digging for facts or information around that email that was released about somebody saying, and I don't even know who it was, it might have been one of the victims saying, could have been Virginia, she didn't see Trump involved in anything. Okay, so here it's saying, don't dig. It's saying, I don't want you to dig for more information or gather any facts, so I'm going to misdirect you so you do not see certain things. That's what the cards are saying. Okay, final spread now, final pull. What else would you like to tell me about this energy? Because I don't actually think I've read Trump and Epstein files before. My first time reading it. So this just says shadow ruler, advisor. Okay, but I had no question. So let's final spread around Trump and Epstein files, please. What would you like to release, or what would you like to tell me what's coming up around that? Future. What is coming up around that? A choice will be made, or a consideration around transferring power or duties coming up in the future. A choice will need to be made around transferring power and duties in the future because of information, possibly related to Ghislaine Maxwell, or, okay, two things. We can read it exactly for what it is. That card says it's a warning or discipline for certain things, or my energy, I straight and see that picture and I think about Ghislaine Maxwell. So it could be one or the other. I'm getting pulled up around because I don't want to get up. I don't want to get a headache. So they're pulling me back with energy here. But some certain regrets. So certain regrets for things in the past, because regrets, 5 of Cups, can be like regrets for things done, way things have played out, or things in the past, either related to Ghislaine Maxwell and the whole kind of team, or personally Ghislaine Maxwell. Gathering information and facts, don't forget it's related somehow to that email about what people saw, what people did not see. But something may come out with more information released, because we've got the information or facts being released, where, because we're reading Trump and Epstein, choices have to be made about transferring of power and duties. Now, could transfer of power and duties, are we talking political with Trump, or are we talking transfer of power of the whole Epstein ring, you might say, and where that went, so where that power was transferred to after he was taken off the scene? Because you can't tell me that doesn't go on by him passing and Ghislaine being locked up, that stuff still doesn't go on. So there's a transfer of power. Now, what is going on here? But there's a choice has to be made here. Coming up in the future, there's a choice going to be made about transfer of power or duties because of regrets, warning, or discipline over past regrets or past things that were done, where information is going to be released about those things. So interesting. I think we've still got more coming up. So a lot more things around the world that will be happening. I'm picking up logically that there'll be other things that will go on in the world that will distract our attention. So like always, we will go up and down with this Epstein stuff. And I did say that in my last series of Epstein readings, where as long as we keep kind of getting it back out there that people need to be held accountable, because it's like it goes in these cycles where the surge of energy, collective energy, wanting answers, it's talked about, it's on the internet, people are doing videos about this stuff, and then next minute something else is thrown at us, and we're all of us turn our attention to current topics, headlines, because that's what we do. That's the algorithm. That's the way the world works. But we're all part of this game. We're all playing their game. Their game being, you talk about this because this is the headlines. This is what we want you to talk about. We don't want you to talk about this anymore. So we're going to throw some earthquakes at you. We're going to throw, different things, different things in the world, whatever it is, for you to talk about those things instead. So we're all just playing this big game, and we need to stop playing the game. Hope you enjoyed that reading. I think there was lots of information in it. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I love your comments. Hit that subscribe button, because I've just read on my algorithm that 50% of people that are watching my videos, coming back watching them, have forgotten to hit the subscribe button. So if that's you, just give it a click. It's free. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next reading.